Today's reading, I forgot to bring the camera, so we're just going to record it audio-wise, is from Michael Singer's book, which is called The Untethered Soul. Have any of you read it? I know you have. Anybody else read it, heard of it? No? Okay. And it's from an early part of the book where he's kind of laying out the whole principle of his book. And what I want to invite you to do is see if you can identify the connection between this and essentially everything else we've been working on. Yeah? So we're just going to read around the room. So if you don't have glasses or paper, just listen along. I'll start, and then if you can just jump in as we go, that would be great. Okay. I didn't bring my glasses in here. Ramana Maharshi, a great teacher in the yogic tradition, used to say that to attain inner freedom, one must continuously and sincerely ask the question, who am I? He taught that this was more important than reading books, learning mantras, or going to holy places. Just ask, who am I? Who sees when I see? Who hears when I hear? Who knows that I am aware? Who am I? Somebody want to go?
When you were 10 years old, didn't you look in the mirror and see a 10-year-old body? Wasn't that the same you that now sees an adult body? What you looked at has changed. But what about you, the one who is looking? Isn't there a continuity of being? Wasn't it the same being that looked in the mirror throughout the years?
Whereabouts are you?
It's actually at the bottom.
The last paragraph.
The last paragraph. It's actually pretty easy to see that you are not the objects you look at. It's a classic case of subject-object. It's you, the subject, that is looking at the objects. So we don't have to go through every object in the universe and say that that object is not you. We can very easily generalize by saying that if you are the one who is looking at something, then that something is not you. So right away, in one fell swoop, you know what you're not. You're not the outside world. You're the one who is inside looking at the world.
Mm-hmm.
Next page.
Next page. Preston, do you want to read?
That was easy. Is that where I'm starting?
Mm-hmm.
That was easy. Now at least we've eliminated the countless things outside. But who are you? And where are you if you are not outside with all other things? You just have to pay attention and realize that you would still be in there experiencing feelings even if all of the outside objects disappeared. Imagine how much fear you would feel. You might also feel frustration and even anger. But who would be feeling these things? Again, you say, Mel?
Me.
Me. Oh, sorry, glasses aren't working. And that's the right answer. The same me experiences both the outside world and the inside emotions.
Mm-hmm. Sarah?
But where are you? Maybe we can find you in your thoughts. Rene
Descartes,
a great philosopher, once said, I think, therefore I am. But is that really what's going on? The dictionary defines the verb to think as to form thoughts, to use the mind to consider ideas and make judgments. The question is, who is using the mind to form thoughts and then manipulate them into ideas and judgments? Does this experience of thoughts exist even when thoughts are not present? Fortunately, you don't have to think about it. You are very aware of your presence of being, your sense of existence, without the help of thoughts. When you go into deep meditation, for example, the thoughts stop. You know that they've stopped. You don't think it. You are simply aware of no thoughts. You come back and say, wow, I went into this deep meditation
Mm-hmm.
It starts to become a serious question. Who am I? Who is having all these physical, emotional, and mental experiences? So you contemplate the question a little deeper. This is done by letting go of the experiences and holding who is left.
Noticing.
Noticing, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Noticing who is left. You will begin to notice who is experiencing the experience. Eventually, you will get to a point within yourself where you realize that you, the experiencer, have a certain quality. And that quality is awareness, consciousness, an intuitive sense of existence. You know that you're in there. You don't have to think about it. You just know. You can think about it if you want to, but you will know that you're thinking about it. You exist regardless of thoughts or no thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Kim?
To make this more experimental,
Experiential.
let's try a consciousness experiment. Notice that with a single glance at a room or out a window, you instantaneously see the full detail of everything that's in front of you. You are effortlessly aware of all the objects that are within the scope of your vision, both near and far away. Without moving your head or eyes, you perceive all the intricate detail of what you immediately see. Look at all the colors, the variations of light, the green of wood furniture, the architecture of buildings, and the variations of bark and leaves on trees. Notice that you take all this in at once without having to think about it. No thoughts are necessary, you just see it. Now try to use thoughts to isolate, label, and describe all the intricate detail of what you see. How long would it take your mental voice to describe all the detail to you versus the instantaneous snapshot of consciousness just seeing? When you look without creating thoughts, your consciousness is effortlessly aware of and fully comprehends all that it sees.
Do you want to read the next few, Jace?
Yep. Consciousness is the highest word you will ever utter. There is nothing higher or deeper than consciousness. Consciousness is pure awareness. So now if I ask you, who are you? You answer, I am the one who sees. From the back in here somewhere, I look out. I am aware of the events, thoughts, and emotions that pass before me.
Mm-hmm. Now you are in your center of consciousness. You are behind everything, just watching. That is your true home. Take everything else away, and you are still there, aware that everything is gone. But take the center of awareness away, and there is nothing. That center is the seat of self. From that seat, you are aware that there are thoughts, emotions, and a world coming in through your senses. But now you are aware that you're aware. That is the seat of the Buddhist self, the Hindu Atman, and the Judeo-Christian soul. The great mystery begins once you take that seat deep within. Not having the paper in front of you, share, if you would, Deb, what you heard in all that. What came up for you?
Well, I like the really last part about it, how it all brings it together no matter which way you look at it. That awareness is who, the inside of you is who.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I liked about it.
Mm-hmm. How does this connect to other ideas that we've been talking about?
Being present, right? Yeah.
Because, say more.
Being present is that awareness, the essence of awareness.
Awareness is presence, right? yeah, that's what comes up for me too. Consciousness is awareness, is presence.
And if you use your senses and your, they were using vision, seeing,
Mm-hmm.
you are aware, you're present.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing exactly what's in front of you, or you're hearing, or you're touching, or I think that's why people love, walking, being in nature,
Yeah.
because it's such a visual or a sensory experience.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And feel it without thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, experiencing maybe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, why is he asking this question? Who are you? Why does it matter? What does this reveal? What do you think?
Well, it sets you free. It creates liberation because back to our other reading, there's no such thing as a problem. No matter what situation you're in.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally no such thing as a problem. Because you're just aware of your problem. That's
Right.
who you are.
Right.
Your mind makes it a problem.
Right.
That's it.
So this little exploration that he goes through, let's figure out who you are. Are you that weight? Well, no. Are you that Matt? No. Okay. Well, who are you? Well, I'm Melissa. Oh, Melissa. That's you? Those 7 letters? No. Well, are you, I'm this body, I'm tall, I'm, whatever. Oh, really? Like, what if you didn't have your right hand for whatever reason? So are you still you? Oh, yeah, I'm still me. Okay, well, I'm this series of thoughts and, accomplishments that I have, right? Like, I've got this diploma and I've got this and that. That's who I am. Oh, really? What if those are gone? Are you still you? Yeah, okay, I'm still me, right? Do you see how he peels it back? And what's the value in doing that?
Well, then you shouldn't really have to worry, or you're in the present moment, so you're not attached to anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Material things.
they're not you.
Right.
It's just, it's not you.
I mean, right, so attachment becomes the interesting conversation, right? Which is what we talk a lot about with some of the Buddhist ideas, right? And one word that was being used earlier, which I think is right, is what's escaping me? Identifying, right? Oh, I identify with that thing. And we somehow in therapy and in conversations that I really identify with that. Well, what does that really mean? If you say I identify, it's kind of a way of saying I am that. We had a really interesting conversation. Share the story, if you would, about language.
Well, we were saying in English you can say, I am hungry. And then I was just watching this video recently, and the person was 2 people that are coming from different languages, and they go, really, you're like the world global embodiment of hunger? You are hungry? It's like, because in other languages they would say, I have hunger. So it's interesting how in English some of the word structure that we have determines how we think about things. It's like,
Isn't it?
Because it's like if you say I am, then are you identifying now?
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I am sad. Are you?
I have sadness.
I have
You're
sadness.
experiencing sadness.
This is,
Yeah.
I actually think there's something much more profound to that than many people realize in English.
Mm-hmm.
In the English language, we walk around saying, I am sad, I am angry, I am pissed off, I am this, I am. And if instead we change the language and everyone was required to say, I have anger, I have sadness, I have this, and then you could say, I can let it go.
Right.
When you have it, you can let it go. But when you are it,
It's hard.
it's you.
You start to care about it.
And you give a shit, and suddenly you're like, I can't let it go because it's me. It's kind of profound,
Yeah, it is actually.
right?
Yeah.
I taught kids for a long time in martial arts, and younger kids are all saying, I have anxiety. And I would even stop that.
Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
You do? Or are you feeling anxious right now?
Yeah, and can you let it go? Yeah.
And
Yeah, there are probably tweaks to these words we can work
pull it
on.
back even more, because then you say, I have anxiety. It's like, I have that, and I carry that, and that's me all the time. And it's like, well, do you really? Or are you just having anxiety in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have it, does that mean you always have it?
But that's the critical question. I have hunger. Do you always have hunger? Not always. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, right?
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To like the new buzzword now in education or whatnot is like a fixed mindset or
Right.
a growth mindset.
Right,
Mm.
right.
So
Are you fixed on
it's black and
identification?
white, or do you have a growth mindset like I will be there, or I'm not there yet, but I will be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I do think that's been a critical shift in the way we think and talk about ourselves. So to just dial it all back, that this idea of him saying, "Who are you?" and then the original philosophers from 1879 saying, and in fact, you'll start to run into this in all kinds of places, won't you? Who am I? Just keep asking, who are you? Who are you? Are you this? Are you this? Are you that thought? And if you're not, what's possible? Anything is possible. Certainly freedom from what? Being identified with the anger, the sadness, the frustration. Now, the problem that people tend to have there is they say, well, I like being happy. Does that mean I have to give up my happiness? Does it?
People also like to be in misery.
Boy, that's the truth, right? There are lots of people who walk around carrying that. Like we talked about this the other day. Who are those people that walk around like, who would they be without their problems?
Right.
They wouldn't live. They just would have no sense of identity. So again, there's this interesting discussion here that says if we could just get everybody to understand that who they are, really, this awareness inside, if everybody knew that, what would that do to the world? Right? Yeah, I find that kind of cool too. Any other thoughts and comments on that?
We dematerialize when we achieve that state.
Yeah, we do just dissolve into nothingness. That's what happens, yeah. Yes, I've seen it happen. No, I'm just totally, I have no clue. I think this is actually one of the interesting things, too, as you begin to explore, read, and get, there is a lot of mysticism that's surrounded many, many different philosophies, religions, right? And some of the more, plain speakers in the group, at least for my liking, simply say it's not really about anything mystical happening. It's just about this recognition. And once you get to that, then now we go back to the meditation that we did at the beginning, right? And your mind is wandering, and then your mind wanders, and you're back, and you'll start to feel like in this place, it feels different than when my mind is. The sensations I have are different when I'm here versus, right? And that starts to give, okay, now can I get better at, yes, get better. But oh my God, just sitting there for 2.5 minutes, I'm like, right? But there are little windows of insight where you go, oh, wow, that's nice.
I like this paragraph, the fourth one down on the last page, where it's talking about if you just look at a fixed amount of space and you take it in versus you look at it and then try to label all the things that you're seeing, that kind of relates back to the meditation for me, because at the beginning I'm start thinking, oh, I gotta say this in class, or I gotta do this, and then it's like, yes, and it's like that bike riding analogy, right? It's like the kids learn to ride the bike, and then they're like, look, Mom, I'm doing it. It's that moment. It's like it's happening. And it's like catching yourself as you're in that meditation. You're like, yes. or thank you, or whatever you say, right, to like lock in that moment that it's happening. And then for me, it's like, you're looking at this beautiful sunset, and you're like trying to take it all in, and then what do? We pull out our phone and take a picture,
Right.
or we stop looking at it and turn to the person next to us like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? And instead it's like, just open your eyes, and it's like, thank you. It's like, wow. And it's like, whatever that word is that like marks that, like, boom, this. It's like that for me is a big meditation tool that is like is clicking for me personally.
Just to wrap that up, some of you have jumped into the meditation group and may not have received a confirmation from me. I think I've realized it's because I now have a Yoga Mastery Institute account and a personal account, and I'm getting all confused. So if I didn't let you into the group, that's why. I will go figure it out. But again, invite you to keep sitting down 10 minutes. Just keep trying this experiment of what does it feel like to be now versus... Next week, where do we go next week? Warrior 3, and then, side angle and forward fold next week. So, fun stuff to come. Do you want to